Hi everyone, so today we will be going over my research that I've done on the flipped math classroom. So the typical math classroom is more teacher-centered and focuses a lot on direct instruction, which results in low student engagement and motivation, and we also see minimal skill development. And one quote that I found said that math instruction is more commonly procedure-based instruction isolated from conceptual meaning, which is actually the opposite of what we would want. So a possible solution to these dilemmas that we currently see in the math classroom is the flipped model. So the flipped classroom is a classroom model in which instruction and practice times are reversed. So the initial instruction takes place outside of class, and then practice and exploration and what typically students do for homework is actually occurring in class. So for my literature review, I looked at 11 qualitative, quantitative, mixed method, and meta-analysis studies that looked at two main topics: academic performance and then student motivation and collaboration. So to go over my 11 sources, the ones that went over or covered more academic performance are listed right here. So from the first one, it was a 2017 study. It used pre and post tests to look at the performance of underperforming and high ability students in the flipped classroom. And it showed that there was more autonomy, facilitated learning, and it was a more student-led environment. The next study also used the pre-post test method with an additional survey and showed improved learning and achievement for students. The next actually used Khan Academy for the outside of class instruction instead of teacher-made videos. And still this study showed higher performance and an enhanced and facilitated understanding for students. The final study that looked at academic performance used instructional videos, verbal questions, and discussions, and it showed that student understanding went from a more instrumental basic understanding to a full relational understanding under the flipped classroom. I have a few more sources that looked more at motivation and collaboration with students, and these studies more used interviews rather than surveys or tests or things like that. So what we see here is more active engagement, more willingness to participate, more communication and collaboration, and then also increased confidence and understanding, which is a really important part of motivation. We also see that self-regulation tools improved students' learning experience. So self-regulation tools can easily be implemented into the flipped classroom. Even English language learners showed an increase in participation and drive and enjoyed the student-led learning of the flipped classroom. And then again, more exploration, collaboration, and increased motivation was seen in this model. Just a few more that looked at motivation and collaboration. Again, we see increased interactions between all parties and improved student engagement. Students were overall more willing to collaborate and engaged, and they appreciated that there were more varied activities in the flipped classroom. And then finally, a study that actually looked at the teacher side of the flipped classroom. Teacher interviews showed that teachers saw increased collaboration, again, more time for exploration, and that the model was especially useful for lower level students. So overall, we will now cover the benefits as well as the limitations of the flipped classroom. So as we saw, the benefits of the flipped classroom include conceptual understanding, engagement and motivation, and enjoyment of learning. So we see a more well-rounded understanding of concepts for students because they get those in-depth, real-life exploratory examples in class. And then their motivation and engagement, it's more of a meaningful and purposeful participation rather than just participating for a grade. And then students enjoy the autonomy, the class being student-paced, and teachers were also able to differentiate as well. Some limitations, of course, creating at-home instructional resources is very time-consuming. You have to be careful to really blend the at-home and in-school environments. And then the lack of immediate assistance during initial instruction is a possible limitation as well. So for future research, we can look at how to best implement this model. So should we use videos? What exactly should we do in class time? And how can we best blend the two learning environments? So here are my references, and thank you so much for watching.